Now this demonstration is for the chocolate box, and it's quite a fun little pop-up this. I've printed the page here. Each print is slightly different, and you notice I've got a white line. This didn't go edge to edge, so if you've got one that isn't doing that, and if you go edge to edge it sometimes throws things off, so that's a bit of an issue. What you've got here on the inside is our guidelines, very very faint, probably hard to pick that up on the camera, and a little white line. I've had to use that as my score line because it's important that we go off at that at 45 degrees. And the consequence is that this has had to be trimmed down already once. It's going to have to trim again, and that may raise a few issues. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, because the box will be inside, but one of the chocolates might pop out side of the frame, which is not really what we want. So I have a cunning plan. If that happens to you, you have one of these printers that doesn't actually print right in the middle. Okay, wow, that's the technical stuff out the side. Let's get on with the fun part here and making it. Now there's loads of different elements here. They're all fairly straightforward, to be honest, and they're all pretty similar. What we've got is a range of items here. If I do the box first, because that's what we're going to do, I've got one part that I've made up and one that I've got to make up here, and if I just show you, you can see it prints out like this. Cut it, score it, and then simply fold it in half to glue it. I'm going to run my trusty glue pen through here. I find it better to score everything, all the fold lines, before you glue it, and that way everything will be a bit happier. So you can see I've got score lines there. That's my fold, so again just reinforce that, and I've got the tabs on the end here. Now I've gone ahead and done the other one, so we're going to end up with a box shape like so, and what we've simply got to do is just glue this together. I'll just put some tape onto this tab, make that nice and strong, and we have our second piece here. Make sure both tabs are facing downwards and just line that up like so. We want it to be perpendicular, i.e. that it's all squared up. So I'm just going to fold that over, as you've seen there, having just placed it on, just to make sure that now everything here is in the right position. And then in theory, all being well, we can now just put some, oh by the way, sorry, I meant to make sure that you glue these two tabs together. This is just so that when it creates, whoops, I've stuck that down now, that when that comes through we don't get a pattern on the outside. Plenty of glue onto there, that comes down, find its own position, but now everything should be pretty square. Like all things, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. I don't want you to worry, because there's so much play in these. By that I mean that there's lots of leeway if things aren't absolutely right. Just part of the fun of doing this. So if kids or whatever are making them, and it's not 100% perfect, it's still going to work nicely. Okay, that's our box, a chocolate box. It's as simple as that. Now this mechanism is known as the Trellis Fold. It's a trellis mechanism. And if I come back now to my main sheet, I just don't know if you can work it out. There's a very, very faint grey line in here, and this is what I'm working to. There's a white line there and a very, very faint grey outline. What we need to do is stick the box to follow that grey outline, so it's at 45-degree angle here to allow it to open and close. So the first thing I'm going to do is just glue this tab here like so. And the tabs come inwards, and then, to be honest, while I'm at it, let's just do the other one as well. So both of these tabs are now glued, and I'm going to place this down, and there's a faint outline which you will be able to see when you print it out. The trick here is to get this corner to line up and be at 45 degrees, and the other one as well, so we get the right shape. When that's down, it should go like that. I just lightly tack everything. Now as we close it, that should find its position, and then rub that so it's good and strong, and then as we open up, our chocolate box drops and comes down. Fantastic. There we go. You can see it like that. Do it to the side for you, and that goes down on the page there. So the next part to do is to fill in the elements that go in and make up all the sides. Now we've got one long one and 3 compartments here. I've gone on and made these. They simply, again, fold in half. You've got your tabs on there, only a single tab here, and a red line. Cut the red line out. That's to allow things to slot in, and I'll show you how that works in a moment. And with this one, let me just show you on here. Again, pre-glue it is probably easier to do that first, and then come back, and I'm just going to cut out these red lines. So with my craft knife here, or a pair of scissors, physically cut out the little box. It's not just a slot, you actually do need to make a slot rather than just a line, a cut line for it to go in. Can you see that there? And I'll go on now, just do that for the other 2 here. Okay, so that's now cut. I've got my tabs here. They're going to just fold back and stick on the sides. Let's just put a nice crease in those. But these are important because they actually allow the mechanism to slot in and move, which is why we've got the actual slots in there. This one's going to go face up. I didn't perhaps score it as well as I could have done and folded it. I've got a little white line. Now on the other, they go downwards, and you won't see if it's not quite perfect. But here I've got a little white line, and that will show. It doesn't matter. But all I'm going to do is just trim that up now, just for aesthetics really. So if that happens to you on the main one, because that one's going to sit up like so, then just give that a trim. Now what I'm going to do is glue the tabs either side there and there, and then when we look in the box you'll see that there's a white line running down. That's a center line, so we'll just pop this in. Let me just show you on the side. There's a white center line there. I'm going to use that as my guide to line up this on the halfway and just have it sitting perhaps a millimetre just below the lip there. You can almost line it up, and again just take a little bit of care and just pop that in there, and that sits like that. Okay, and as ever, just check everything's alright, fold it over, and so we get this lovely trellis effect here. Now what we're going to do is go on and fit these in. So it's the same procedure. Glue the 2 tabs there so they fit on. It's just, again, aesthetics. Now this will slide in over the top like so, and then you'll see the lines. Again, white lines. If I can just pick that up to the camera, you should be able to see some white lines on the side, vertical lines running upwards. Just attach these by the feet to those lines like so, and we get our first sort of box forming there. And again, just push that down, check everything's okay, and I'm just going to work on now and put the next one in, and we'll just, as I said, work on to our section. So I'll just quickly rush ahead, just stick these in, and we can see now our box forming like so. And we can see now our chocolate box with all the segments in there works beautifully. So the next thing to do is to prepare for the actual chocolates in the lift mechanism. Now they look like this. They've got larger feet, and again you'll notice that there's a white line running around the edge and along for you to guide to put these in. So I'm going to do one and show you how it works. We'll do the corner one here. Now this is our lift mechanism, so we glue those 2 tabs on the top there. I'm just going to fold that back and line it in on that white line, and you'll see that there's a position that's going about halfway. A little bit tricky this, in fact the trickiest part to do. I'm trying to do this so I can show you on the camera as well, but I'm going to lift this up halfway along, crease line onto the white line, and stick the tab down there, then fold this up. And really the best way then to let it find its way is just to fold it over, stick it down, and that little tab will find its way in there like so.